Guys, I want y'all to win more games in Warzone, and utilizing these tips and tricks to help you guys solidify a better foundation as a squad to go out there, work together in order to win more games in Warzone. All right, first tactic we want to go ahead and discuss is the gulag, right? This we force ourselves to be here, and what a better time to talk about it. Now, I always like to lead with the frag. Granted, a lot of people have caught on to not instantly rush in the right-hand side or the left-hand side. But you just got to play patient. Again, you need to, as a player, I think the most important thing for anyone, mouse and keyboard controller players, the most important thing for you guys to do to improve your aim and accuracy is either sniping or pistols. And to be honest, I think pistols is probably your best thing to master. And why is that? Well, if you master pistols, you master the art of flicking and hopefully going for the headshots, right? Notice right there. Rewind 3 years ago. 3 years ago when Warzone dropped, the Warzone 1, I was dog shit with pistols, absolutely atrocious, and I avoided them at all costs for about a year and a half until I started sniping and seeing a direct correlation. Even in my Counter-Strike days, I did not like using the Deagle and other pistols like that. I was always just for either, you know, SMG or sniper, and that's been in all games. But I have known a drastic increase, or I have seen a drastic increase in my gameplay from the moment that I started playing with pistols. So guys, I just highly recommend warming up with some pistols, getting that headshot accuracy, getting the flicks down, and just practicing. Also, the pistols are great because you can panic fire them and slow yourself down. Can't really panic fire a sniper rifle. All right, but here we are right off the bat again. We're spectating quads, and the purpose of this is to increase your teamwork. Warzone 1, you can run off, do whatever the hell you wanted because you had movement and other things to bail you out of situations that you probably shouldn't have been in. This game here, a lot less forgiving. So we really want to emphasize teamwork and looting together. Now, we are... never mind. I can't tell where his teammates are because of spectating. Oh, wait, there they are. Never mind. So we are all the way across. We are over here. Green's over here and purple just died right there. So we're very, very separated. Mistake number one, if you're playing with randoms or not, if you guys are playing with randoms, just try to stay with the random. If he's not communicating back to you and you know what to do, just play alongside the random. You have a better chance of surviving and winning the game if you just follow your teammates' move than y'all do splitting off like this.
Movement.
Now, snipers are not a one-tap headshot. So there's a Glintz looking right at us. So I wouldn't even challenge this. Let's go spectate Trash and see what he's doing. So right now, SEAL team's trying to provide some kind of cover fire. Meanwhile, we're trying to loot. But look, oh my God, he clustered himself. You can't make this up. Tip number 2, guys, do not cluster yourself. It's common sense, man. Come on, dude. Wait for the laser to be where you need it and then fire. That was a huge waste. Now, again, what should SEAL team do? Well, there are enemies out there. He needs to ping them for his squad members. You see his teammates sitting in the building, not doing much of anything, while enemies are running around right outside their building. He needs to be pinging these guys, letting his squad know, hey, bros, look out the windows and get some shots off on the enemy. He did ping the enemy. Let's see what they do now. Finally, a little bit of movement. I don't like when we're crouch walking in the open. Very dangerous. We are working together. There is left-hand side. I don't know how Trash didn't see him. Definitely not an FOV issue now that everyone's got 120. If you're not rocking 105 plus, you definitely need to change it. All right, we'll say great job with the hip fire. With SMGs, close range, you guys want to try your best to always hip fire. Always. I see it a lot of times. People go ADS and they'll struggle to track close range because sensitivity issues. It's just hard to track. All right, what now? Well, we've finished the team fight. And again, unfortunately, SEAL team didn't really do too much for us. He was trying to commit to the sniping too long. We got lucky that there was only one enemy down there. If it would have been a full squad, I think the tables would have been turned differently. If you're SEAL team guys and you're not loaded out, you don't have the confidence or the accuracy to be sniping at enemies long range, push down there and help your squad out. All right, but here we have SEAL team moving on by himself again. This man thinks he's playing Tarkov, and look, play how you guys want, but this is not Warzone 1. It's very, very difficult for anybody, sweat or not, to go off and 1v4 the rest of the lobby. And here we have SEAL team. Looks like that's exactly what he's trying to do. And John Wick's getting in fights. We have a chopper to go help them. We're gonna go spectate John Wick. I don't know if SEAL team really wants to play the game or not. Great job bailing away. I didn't like the fact that we're B-hopping out in the open regardless, but he learned from his mistake. Our teammates now in combat with the dude, and that's it. Now look how the separations got us killed. These guys clearly don't have the capacity to be fighting solo, so why not use your numbers to your advantage? One enemy, two of us, and he's already made it a 1v1 fight instantly. If we would have been playing together, what would have happened? We would have easily been able to blow through him. Very rarely you're going to be able to outgun an enemy team that has more players than you. It can happen, but it's very rare. Let's go see what SEAL team's doing real quick. SEAL team's pinging a lot of people. And again, from downrange, he's helping out. He's giving visual comms to his squad members. But again, not really much help at all. All that he's going to be able to do is basically distract them and pray that your boy John Wick is able to sneak up behind him.
Get to the new safe zone.
That actually might be what's happening. And again, guys, right gun for the right fight. You've got to know the ground loot. You've got to understand what guns are good for range, what guns are not good for range. Because if you guys do not understand that, what's going to happen is you're going to get in a situation like this where you have a gun that should be more or less used for close range fighting. You're going to piss off an enemy on top of the silos, which he just did. And now what if that enemy has his loadout? What if that enemy has a good long range weapon? We put ourselves at a disadvantage. Ooh. Your boy's hunting. I respect the aggression, but there's a second teammate on the right-hand side. I still don't think he saw him. No, wait, what? All right, luckily his teammate was able to come in and help him out. But we get caught up while Trash is looting. And look, two more enemies pop up, and now it's a 2v2 fight. Now let's go ahead and see where SEAL team's at. Let's see where our dude's at and how he's going to help us. We'll wait. I'll be honest, I really hope they fix the spectating cam. Not being able to see who's my teammates really throwing me off. I can't change spectating while they're down. Good to know. And again, here's SEAL team just vibing. Just vibing. Now we got real lucky. I have no idea how the enemy was able to down John Wick and allow Trash to not only loot while being shot at, but to pick up a weapon and turn on the enemy and outplay him. He just solo duoed that team. What an animal. That should not have been allowed by the enemy squad. Great job of the enemy team coming out just 2v2ing us, but again, they threw. I don't know how they threw, but they definitely threw. Wish you could have seen that from Trash's standpoint. All right, guys, go ahead and talk about one of the most important things to do, rotations and strategy. Nah, let's not do that. It's too early for that. All right, let's talk about these zones. Now, initially we thought they'd be really complicated, overcomplicated to rotate, but they're actually pretty simple. There's really no rhyme or reason to where you need to be at within these zones. Just make sure you're there. And when the next zone solidifies, go ahead and have a game plan for it. I don't believe that the triple, duo, quad circles really have any effect in the game whatsoever. If anything, it just allows people to hide longer. I actually prefer, for more challenging level, the single circles. I think single circles are actually a lot harder to manage because everyone's clustered together. Now everyone's clustered in different areas. I don't know. It's weird how it's playing out. All right, but we got our stuff. It's time to move on. We've been sitting around here. I'm going to cut it out, but we've been sitting here for about 2 minutes, and nothing's happened. We're going back and forth, back and forth. We don't have enough money to do anything, so let's either go position up or go hunt. And it is a new battle royale, and money is definitely necessary, but situations like this, like doors already open, there were 2 teams here, it's already been looted, it's time to move on, whether you want to loot or you want to position, whatever the reason is. The circle is not going to favor the oil field at all, because again, it's going more central toward Al Mazrah City. So we just need to start, again, thinking about rotation or going to an area to loot, or getting aggressive. All three of the options are the only options that need to be made. It's the only decision that needs to be made right now. But for some reason, here we are. Maybe they had some dev errors. Who knows? And we see this a lot, dude. You know, this wasted time thing has always been a thing, especially in Warzone 1. But now more than ever, I think it's going to catch you with your pants down in a very unfortunate way. I think a lot of times you're going to see, you're not going to have as many people hunting UAV wise, but when it comes to rotating, this is going to be a massive L. Again, we need plates first off. So we've got to somehow rotate to another area that's offering something, loot for plates, loot for money, so we go off and get the things that we need. All right, so again, I'm gonna edit out a lot of this, but we have loadout drops finally landing. And of course, always be aware, there will be other teams here. I still like to try to make my way to the loadout as soon as possible. I've noticed a lot of players that we've been spectating and witnessing play, a lot of other streamers, like to hesitate, allow people to go there, kind of slowly rotate to that area, make sure it's safe, make sure everyone's gone, and then go in for the loadout. But again, you want to grab your loadout as fast as possible so that if enemies are coming to the loadout drop when you're around still, you can gun them down and get those free kills. Again, we've got two loadouts next to us. They have no drive to go towards them for some odd reason. Now you can see the hesitation as they push across the street. That's a great thing. You guys got to clear the areas and make sure they're safe. Granted, of course, you can't predict when an enemy's going to peak. COD timing at its finest will always get you killed, but at least make an effort to try to look around and scan for the enemies. One thing I will say about the slower gameplay is players are learning to be a little bit more aware now. I think now that they have the time to take to actually look around before getting blitzed down by a bunch of slide cancelers, they're actually playing a lot more strategical. Now, they don't have the greatest movement ever. They're not the best players ever, but you can see that their observation's definitely higher than most of the players we ever spectated in Warzone 1. Now, you can kind of afford to sit in the open like this. Before, we would always scream down your throat, like, stop standing still, you're going to get headshotted. But because snipers don't really do much damage to you, and even ARs at range, you can kind of break away from the moment you get shot. If your reaction time's fast enough, you can kind of get away with things like that. But with saying all that, you got to keep in mind, again, your plating situation. Trash has 0 plates activated. He does have 3 plates in his inventory. So, of course, he needs to plate up. Pick up that satchel would be cool too. And it's just a learning experience. Clearly a new player. We're watching him just sprint around. Again, I prefer tac sprint, auto tac sprint, but if you guys don't, get it how you live. But for players like Trash right now, or Trashk, it could definitely help him out. I keep calling him Trash. It's actually Trask. My bad, brother. I wasn't insulting you, I promise. But yeah, again, skipping the satchel. Not plating up. This is going to be very it's going to be bad for him. Now it could be glitched out because our boy John Wick and SEAL Team don't even have plate icons above their names. Who knows? With all the glitches in this game, it wouldn't surprise me. Seaver zone's gone. Of course, zone went basically the center of all zones. That's kind of what it's been. I was expecting a more creative, like bouncing this way, and then all these guys would have to fight these guys. That would have made the 3 and 4 circle separation a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, a lot different, a lot more difficult to read. But it's always basically simple. I don't think I've ever seen a circle where it was 3 or 4 go elsewhere. So just keep in mind, most of the time it's always going to go central. And these buildings here, it's going to be a slower downtown ending. It's going to get a little hot for a second as people are rotating in, but once everyone's got their buildings, once the circle's solidified, it's going to be slow as fuck from that point forward. So just go ahead and try your best to get to that area as soon as possible. Again, just like in Warzone 1, the last thing you guys want to do is allow the circle to force you in, because with that, the circle's going to be pushing you and you're going to have to be fighting the gas as well as the enemies. And trust me, stims and gas masks are not as forgiving in this game as it was in the other one. Gas mask plays are still a thing ish, but again, you don't want to get caught up with the animation. You don't want to get caught up having to play inside the gas for too long. Your gas mask run out and then you're dead. And again, because of the area they have to cross, look, the circle speed, the circle's going to end up pushing them out. But even if they win this fight and they get across, they got to swim. The odds of them swimming to safety at this point is basically 0. Another thing, and this was a case in Warzone 1, there were other content creators telling you guys to rotate around the edge of the zone, but I've always been a huge proponent that's probably the dumbest thing you could do for this reason here, and it still applies in this game. When you play the edge of the zone, you're also playing the edge of the zone with the other kids that are playing the edge of the zone. So the moment you go to rotate, whoever's the more patient of a player, clearly the enemy team, they're gonna catch you out in the open and get you killed. The enemy team is now down 2 of our guys, and I only know of there being 1. Maybe that's his teammate. And again, allowing the circle to force you out an area, playing the edge will get you killed more times than none, guys. Do not always play the edge. If you're on the hunt, by all means, feast on the edge of the zone. But if you're playing like these guys and just looting and getting position and just stop it, try to pre-rotate earlier and get where you need to be. And again, even if they would have survived, even if there was no team behind them, the moment that zone did force us out into the area that was safe, we would have had to cross either a bridge, swam in the water, towards players that have already solidified the high ground. Again, you want the high ground, you got to get there early. The number 1 tip I could ever give you guys in any battle royale is get the high ground, but a lot of people don't understand there's more to it. You got to get the high ground first. You have to. And because of those skyscrapers that we saw, you instantly should have rotated. They instantly should have started making their way. And we called it from the get-go. Right when they were in there just looting and taking too long, I told them, it's going to go central. You need to start preparing, start get that direction. And they didn't. And they looted and they looted and they looted. And here we are with SEAL Team. And I believe he's the only one with a gulag. All right, so now we have a regain. Now, regains of this game are a lot harder than they ever were in Warzone 1. Again, with time to kill, loadouts, everything being completely different, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. Now, we are on the rooftop, but you got to remember, other enemies on the rooftop too, they probably saw us come down, so we need to get our shit, get in, and get out quickly. We're taking a long time right now. I'd like to see him get off this freaking roof and maybe make his way to a better one. Circle's now rotated away, actually, so we don't need to worry about getting to the bigger roofs. You have 45 seconds when the circle starts moving in, probably about a minute and 10 seconds before this zone solidified. We have 2 enemies on that roof for sure. I honestly would not try to take this building because of the fact that there's multiple people here. I would start prepping for the next zone. Now, we don't know where the next zone is going to be, but I'm going to want to go ahead and get one of these buildings here because it'll be easier to hold by myself. With this building here, you have multiple doorways, you got a staircase, you got a lot of places enemies can push you from multiple directions. But if we were sitting on top, say one of these buildings where there's just one staircase that goes and spirals all the way to the top, that's an easier building for one solo player to hold. The odds of getting your teammate back, it's possible. We're getting kind of close, but the last buy station is about to be forced out, so I wouldn't really make that play right now. Regain situations, again, are more difficult. Before, you could kind of get your teammates back and kind of make a move with it. Now, most of the time, especially this late, you're gonna have to solo from the rest of the for the rest of the game, and that's exactly why his 2 teammates backed out, because they knew what it was. Now, I don't like this at all. Again, we don't know if his plates are popped because the game could be glitched, but I don't like this at all. What happens if these 2, 3, or 4 players come down the staircase together? We might get one of the 2 knocks, but we're not going to kill them all, and we're going to be lucky if we even get 2 knocks. You know dang well when he goes in and gets the first knock, he's going to go for the execute and die. What you need to do is set yourself up in an area that you can break away real quick. You need to reload that gun, my guy. I like the fact that he's watching the staircase through that crack, though. The enemies gave us too much time to play it up, but they actually got in another fight, so we kind of got lucky in that aspect. Now, to be honest, I don't like the fact that we want to re-challenge that because the gas is coming in. I want to get to the rooftop and try my best to parachute to a better area. Sounds like there's a guy up here with us, so we need to be very careful. There he is. Again, just audio. Like, we don't, the footstep audio sucks in this game, I get it, but that was pretty common. That was a pretty common sense thing to do. But again, you know, I didn't like him in that corner to begin with. If they would have looked through, popped through the doors, they would have looked at us, we would have had nowhere to escape to. We have a quad team here. They need to get into a better position. They got to cross a wide open street. I like the parachute. This is why I said I'd want to get to the rooftop so I could parachute and get myself a little bit safer. Did he just B-hop? Now we want to get this rooftop again because of the multiple entrances with the doors, the windows. You want to grab the rooftop and make it harder for enemies to push. I like the fact that he played it while watching the staircase. And normally I would have closed the doors to res, but because of this game and the way it's designed, I like the fact that they left it open so again he can keep eyes on him. Now, the first mistake Kyle made, and he's been playing great, he's rocking 9 kills, and they're looking good to win the game, but the mistake that he made was going out in the open with his hands obscured, basically, holding that cluster mine to throw it down instead of clearing the area. We knew there were more enemies here, and instead of clearing the area first and then dropping the cluster, we decided to cluster first, and they caught us with our hands, well, holding something. Now, again, we need to get safe to the next building. I want to go ahead and get eyes on the building and see what kind of rotations we need to make. Get to the rooftop, jump off if you have to. You're a ballsy boy. Not sure what we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead right here. I like Swedish with the rooftop play 100%. We got to watch the bridge too. This squad's pretty much going in as a unit. It's a 4v2 right now. You already know where they're at because we threw a cluster mine at them or a drill charge at them. You see them on the rooftop. Good job smoking the teammate. And that's all she wrote. Now again, I told you guys that teamwork is going to be massive to help you guys win the game. Sure, I'm sure these guys were good, but let's look at the beginning team that we spectated and let's look at the last team we spectated. Do you see the main difference between the squads? One squad was just kind of doing whatever the hell they wanted, not working as a squad, and they ended up getting wiped because of it. Didn't play the circle, didn't pre-plan, didn't do anything. They just looted and tried to get away with just playing without a plan. The last squad clearly in sync, rotating together, pre-rotated to the high ground, smoking each other out when one was down, pings going out galore. They worked as an absolute unit. Great job by that squad. And that is why teamwork will be the most important strategy for you guys to go out there and win more games.